Hello, everybody. Welcome back to your 5-minute therapy today. And we're going to be talking about the healthy spine and how myofascial release can actually help you keep your spine healthy, fluid, mobile, and strong as well. So, why am I choosing this subject? A lot of you I know are working in the office in front of the computer all day long. You may be actually working at home in front of the computer, which in some cases can be worse because you may not have the ergonomic setup that will help you, keep your back straight and your eyes aligned with the computer screen. So I do want to encourage you before we get into the spine to really look at your workstation. How is your computer positioned? Are you looking straight forward at your screen? Do you have a chair that actually allows you to sit straight? Are you actually sitting on the couch and having your laptop on your lap and it makes you actually bend forward and maybe even strain your eyes and your neck? So check it out. Take a really hard and honest look at your position, especially if you're working that 7-8 hours in front of the computer every day, which so many people who come to see me actually do. And they start to complain about their back pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, eye strain, headaches, jaw pain. So this is why I want to teach you a really simple and very rewarding technique today that will help you keep your spine straighter and have more awareness in terms of how you are sitting, and also introduce more fluidity around the tissues that are encasing and holding your spine together. And when I say spine, I also refer to the neck, okay? Because the neck is a part of our spine. So the spine and the neck will benefit from this exercise today. So what I want you to do, as you see, I'm sitting down on a chair, and you may sit on the floor on a cushion, but you also may sit on a chair. This is all you need. You don't need your ball today. We'll come back to it. Don't worry. So what I want you to do first is actually check with how you're sitting. So just notice when you first sit down on your chair, are you slouching? Are you kind of twisted? Are your sits bones touching the surface of your chair or the floor evenly? Okay? Because oftentimes we sort of sit on the side, we cross our legs, and maybe typing on the computer. Look at what's happening with my neck. Look at what's happening with my shoulders. Of course, I'm exaggerating, but this will surely get you to have pain in your neck, will surely get you to have pain in your shoulders and your back. So this is so important to, first of all, make sure that our spine is aligned straight forward. If we are on the computer, straight forward in the direction of the screen. So how do we do that? First of all, when we sit down, I want you to actually stand up first and feel your sits bones. So you put your hands on your butt and you feel those bony protrusions. And I want you to then sit back down as you're keeping your hands on your sits bones and locate your sits bones really straight underneath you. So you can roll back and forth a little bit. And I want you to feel that connection between your sits bones and the surface of your chair or the floor. And take a breath. Relax. So you may kind of want to roll. Sometimes you may have some pain, and it will be actually impossible to not bend forward a little bit, or, it may be uncomfortable to be sitting straight with your sits bones really evenly, directly touching the surface. Well, that will mean that you may need treatment. You may need to release some of the restrictions around your pelvis and back. So keep on watching videos. We have a lot of those techniques. And also you can always get in touch with me and ask about it. So first of all, we want to feel those sits bones on the surface of the chair. And automatically, as I am actually connecting my sits bones, my spine has to go straight. Okay, if I roll forward, my sits bones are not touching the surface anymore, but you know, my spine is already rolled. I don't want to be sitting like that. I also don't want to be sitting forward where my sits bones are not touching, they kind of peeling off the surface, because that is really uncomfortable and really strenuous for your spine. So what I want to do is just locate myself. I may do a little circle back and forth and just take a breath. Connect your sits bones to the surface. And then I want you to imagine or feel your tailbone. And from your tailbone, what I want you to do is imagine that line going all the way through the column of your spine, all the way up to your neck and up to the top of your head. And imagine like it's actually coming out through your head and you have a line or a string pulling you up. And all the way from the tailbone up to that string on top of your head, it's going to be pulling you up towards the ceiling, towards the sky. So it's almost like you have a string inside of your spine that's pulling you up. And it may not feel super comfortable to start with. Your spine may not be strong yet because it got used to sitting kind of like this. Okay? Or like this. So we are building musculature. We're building, just by sitting, we're building strength in the spine as we are stretching it and releasing it. Okay, this is the beauty of myofascial release. It actually helps us build proper musculature to support us. So I'm just imagine that line pulling me up. Okay, so that's the first part of the exercise. And I want you to play with that today and just kind of, you can even just start with that whole concept of keeping your sits bones on the chair or the floor and imagine that line going through your spine all the way up to the ceiling. But there's more. What we want to do with this second step of this exercise is actually create more space inside of your rib cage around your spine, especially the thoracic spine, and help the neck to have more space as well. So what we're gonna do, first we start sitting straight, and then I'm just actually gonna gently test my rotations, okay? I'm gonna test rotations of my rib cage. So it's very important that you keep your sits bones and your hips glued to the surface of your chair. Do not move them, do not peel them off. I'm going to take a breath and just check how much, without forcing, without straining, how much does my rib cage want to move? And you see, I can strain myself, but it doesn't feel good. So I want to just test. And this is as much as I can do, okay? You may go more, you may go actually less. Some people have almost zero rotation, okay? So then I come back and test the other side. So I am feeling that going to the right is actually harder for me, okay? I'm not going as far. I can strain it, but I don't want to. With myofascial release, we never apply any force. Remember that. So I'm going to test again. And yes, I'm keeping my sits bones on the chair. And yes, I do feel like I have more motion to the left and a little less motion to the right. So the first thing, I'm going to go in the direction of ease. Myofascial release guides us to always follow the body instead of straining and forcing it. So I'm going to go in a direction of ease and just allow myself, as I'm keeping my sits bones on the chair, allow myself to just twist a little bit all the way to as far as my body allows me to without straining or forcing. And now I'm imagining that line, remember the line from my sits bones all the way up to the top of my head, pulling me up to the ceiling, okay? I'm relaxing my head and my eyes, but I'm allowing my spine to be long and really traveling up towards the ceiling as I am keeping myself in that fairly comfortable position and breathing. And now I'm feeling that my body's actually kind of migrating a little bit more to the left and wanting to stretch a little more. Yeah. So, but I'm also feeling a little flatter in my stomach. This is interesting. Things may come up as you're doing this exercise that looks very benign and simple and easy, but things may come up. I'm actually stretching my psoas muscle, which is an important muscle that goes over your vagus nerve. It can create a bit of a sensation, sometimes a bit of a movement or flutter, or you may feel a bit agitated, even with this simple stretch. So I want you to do that and keep it for 5 minutes. This is maybe a challenge, especially if you start to feel things around your belly, and you may feel some agitation. Like I said, the psoas muscle goes all around your spine in the front and wraps into your hips. This exercise also helps to stretch your psoas as it's opening the rib cage and allowing the tissues around the spine to get more space, to become more fluid, because we're stretching slowly. And so you're going to stay on that side for 5 minutes, not 1 minute, 5 minutes. If you cannot, build up to it. And then after you've done, so after your alarm rings, 5 minutes over, and you can stay longer, just gotta relax, take a few breaths, feel your body, and then you're gonna do the same exact thing going the other way. So remember that you keep your sits bones on the surface of the chair. Connect with your tailbone first. Imagine that line pulling you up so that your spine is straight. Take a breath and then gently roll. And so I'm actually feeling a little more space already, even after that very short time on the other side. As you see, I'm not going to be keeping you here for 5 minutes because I am just demonstrating. But at home, when you do this exercise, please follow those rules. They're extremely important. Okay, so I'm breathing and really working on keeping my spine straight. I may have a tendency to kind of go this way because it's getting a little bit tiresome to be keeping my spine straight and long. But I'm building my muscles. This is an exercise, okay? So, and I'm also using a bit of a support here with my chair I'm placing my hand gently, so I'm assisting my spine in this twisting position by just keeping my hand on the chair. So, ooh, and on this side, what's happening, I'm feeling actually a lot of agitation up into my upper back and the front here. So differently than the left side where I felt my psoas. Here I'm feeling my shoulders and my arms. I'm tuning into my body and actually asking my body, what am I feeling? And after 5 minutes, again, you gently come back. You can relax. And then you can kind of finish it up, top it off with a bit of an unwinding. Remember last week we talked about unwinding and spread your arms. You kind of let yourself float in space without having to keep your spine straight anymore. So you give yourself a little bit of a reward. And go back and watch my video about unwinding if you don't remember, okay? So basically what we did today, we're working on rotations in the rib cage. Most people are very limited. As you see, I'm not really that great with my rotations. I've been working on it, but it's still pretty hard. So as we work with rotations, we're opening the space around the spine and also strengthening the spine because we're keeping ourselves in that straight position, elongating position. So your spine will thank you if you take 10 minutes, 5 minutes on one side and 5 minutes on the other side, to get more space around the vertebrae, open up the tissues, and provide more fluidity into the myofascial system, or create more fluidity in the myofascial system. This is extremely important. As you know, in the work that most people do these days in front of the computer, sitting down, we become very rigid and tight. Have you ever felt like you have a straitjacket around you, like your body is just kind of dried out inside, like you don't have that mobility that you want to have? Well, this is why, because we're keeping ourselves in one position all the time with our eyes glued in the computer screen. So this is not a very natural way for our body to function. We have to start working on creating more fluidity and really helping and assisting our body. So this technique will help you. So what I want to encourage you today, take you 10 minutes, of course, and 5 minutes on one side, 5 minutes on the other side. And remember the principles. We never force. We always go in the direction of ease with the body. And we always work on everything for at least 5 minutes. So every stretch, every twist, every session on the ball is at least 5 minutes. And hence, we call this 5-minute therapy. So it was a pleasure chatting with you again. Let me know what you've learned. Let me know your questions and what else is actually on your mind that you feel would be helpful and supportive of you in creating beautifully fluid, healthy, and radiant fascial system. Okay, I'll see you soon and have a beautiful rest of the day. Bye-bye.